Awesome. Just go over a handful of wins. Slow sales week due to holiday and everything like that. A lot of us were sick this past week as well. For those that tried to get hold of me last week, I do apologize if I didn't answer. But I was sick in bed for like 3 days. And then Dana was as well, and I know a few others. I know Clay is right now. So handful of sales. So Lolita, I think this was around Thanksgiving time, but Lolita actually closed a 14 kilowatt while she was on vacation for Thanksgiving. So good job to Lolita on that. Richard Cowan closed a 20.4. Sean Moore closed a 9.2. He's out of Southern California. I don't see him on the call right now, but he closed a 9.2 kilowatt down there. Robert Plyer closed a 12.2 out of Texas. Sean closed another deal on Monday. I didn't get the system size on that, but he did get another deal. I believe that was his first sale as a tier 2. So good job, Sean, on that. That was in Southern California as well. And I don't know if this really counts as a sale, but Sean and I actually saved a deal that after survey, we found out we need a new roof. The customer was on vacation. They just came back and we were able to save the deal. So kind of felt like a new deal just in itself. So was able to save that 6.8 with a re-roof attached. Installs, a lot of installs are starting to come through from what we sold in the summertime. So I know Dana had a handful. Wayne had a few as well. I see Wayne is 20 right now. Wayne had a few as well. Robert Plyer had an install. Chris Harris had an install. Bradley Lauritsen had an install. I know Terry had an install. Bo had an install. Mohammed and I had an install in Texas. I'm not sure if that was his first one. But I know Mohammed and I had, looks like it was our first install or Mohammed's first install. So congrats to Mohammed on that. And then Hunter had an install as well with Dana. So good job, you guys, on that. A few new reps. I know Bo onboarded a new rep, Wade Bischoff. He's based out of Utah, sells remotely in SoCal. Dude does megawatts a year for his current company. So we're super excited to have him with the team. He's going to crush it. I know I onboarded a new rep, Jake Lynn. He's based out of Southern California. He has a background in marketing and he owns a call center across seas. And so we're ramping up, working to get kind of scripts out and things like that to get some leads flowing on this side of the seas. So excited to have him. Armando recruited Javier Campos. I know Brad Stoller's new on the team as well. I believe he came from Solar Bry. And I know Dana has a couple extra reps as well that have onboarded recently and are onboarding this week. So welcome to everyone that's on the team. As I said, we have 2 new tier 2 sellers, Sean Moore out of Southern California and Nathan Ramirez out of the Central Valley. So congrats to Sean Moore and Nathan. And 2 new tier 3 sellers. So Jim Wooten out of Roseville and Robert Plyer out of Texas. So congrats to Big Jim and Robert for being the new tier 3 sellers. We have one more that has hit his quota. He just hasn't finished the tier 2 certification yet. So Rachel won't schedule him to be tier 3 yet. So once he finishes that, we'll get him on the schedule to be tier 3. And I'll announce that hopefully in the next week or 2. He's out of the Central Valley as well. So I'm not going to go too much into detail into NEM3 or anything like that, guys, but Jonathan hosted a call with the executive director for the CalSISA, Bernadette Del Cairo last week, so definitely check that out. Voting for NEM3 is on the 15th, so a lot of it is just kind of, we just have to wait and see what happens. Kiara Smithy, she actually just posted a really good video on Instagram kind of explaining how NEM3, if it does get approved, it will not only affect Californians, but it's going to trickle into all states over time, long term. So definitely check that out on Instagram. If you didn't receive it, maybe shoot me a text and I'll send it over to you. And yeah, so definitely between now and the 15th, there's a bunch of different ways that you can help, contact politicians and things like that, and donate. Definitely try to be involved in those things to help make sure it doesn't happen. Puerto Rico officially launched. I'm working with Moises to get him back on the call to do another training for us for Puerto Rico. So those of you that are interested, I know I've already have a few reps that have reached out saying they want to go out there or at least do Zoom presentations out there for Puerto Rico. So there's a lot of benefits to Puerto Rico. They're anticipating that it will actually be a larger market than California and Texas and Florida. There's no permits out there. It's mainly Spanish speaking. Pretty much every system is going to be with a battery. They have really high electrical rates. They have a lot of grid issues. That's why they want batteries. There is no FTC out there though, but even with all that, it still kind of evens out. So apparently it's going to be a really, really huge market for us. So excited that it's launching. And then there will be a mastermind tomorrow. I believe that's the 4 or 5 hour mastermind that will be tomorrow. Starts at 9 a.m. I believe 11 or 12 is when Jonathan Budd hops on and does his little hour. He usually has big updates. He has a lot of things that he goes over. He goes over the top producers, top mentors, top recruiters as well. So I like to watch those just to see who from our team made the top 20, top 30, whatever they go over. And so definitely be on that. And then there's a power hour this past Monday with Ramsey Clark, friend of ours. So he did an excellent job. And so definitely you make sure that you're utilizing the power hours. And it's a great, tool to kind of explain how the opportunity works and the compensation and things like that. There's a leadership summit from the 12th and the 13th of January. It'll be in San Diego. It's $600 to be in there. It's only for 2 or 3 sellers, and you have to hit the top 50 leaderboard in one of the 3 areas over the last 90 days to qualify to go. Building with Bobby, Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific. Dude's a top recruiter within the company, within the world, right? He's recruiting like 1 to 2 reps a day. So definitely chime into those. It's Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Chime into those if you're looking to recruit or better your recruiting efforts. Utilize the power calendars as well. And next Tuesday, I just confirmed with him, we will have Solar Joe with us again. He's the one that made SolarCon and all that stuff and Power Pioneers and everything. So Solar Joe will be with us next Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. I didn't even tell Bo yet, but yeah, it is confirmed, Bo. So he already has the invite and everything. So we're good. And and so we do have a special guest tonight. So he referred to Dana as one of his crackers, and let me explain that. So at Power World, for those of you that weren't at Power World, Solar Mike was actually part of the panel for social media, and one of the things that he did do was he had a handful of people from the audience come up and crack parts of their body. Dana cracked his neck, and then he posted on Instagram. That video is on Instagram if you guys want to watch it. It's on his social media. So check that out. And then I actually have a connection with Mike because he actually posted on Instagram about starting a professional Overwatch team, which is a video game team, to play against like Facebook and Amazon and stuff. So I actually played a few games of Overwatch with Mike. I don't think I make the cut though, because he never called me back after that. But me and Bo both actually played with him. So I don't think we're on the team though. But yeah, so Mike, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Yeah, you guys didn't make the cut. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to let me share my screen here. And get you guys. Sorry, I'm just making some adjustments here to my recording on my end. Okay. A lot of you, and I've got the chat pulled up, so I kind of want some interaction. If you want to like say something, I think we're all open mic. I don't want to sit and talk. I don't like to like sort of be empty in Zoom. I like there to be a conversation going a little bit. And I do that a lot with my customers. We might get that far, but I wasn't entirely sure. A lot of you guys have been in this longer than me. I've been in the industry 2 years, and I started with Sunrun. I started knocking right after they just bought Vivint. So it was an old Vivint office. So if you've done the door knocking thing anywhere, that company was probably based out of something Vivint did, and then they created like all kinds of companies. And so I was trained that way, like just direct to home PPAs. That's what I was selling. And I got into it, and I was into marketing a little bit before I helped a business do some Instagram and like social media marketing. And I was just learning that space. And I thought before I started with solar, I looked around at solar accounts, and I just realized that like if you look at realtors, there's a massive competition on social media, and they make great content. They have for years. That's how they try to separate themselves. They invest a lot into it. And I could see solar didn't, it was a lot, there's a lot of turnover in this industry. And so it's a little scary to invest that much effort into something that, we might not be able to make go. I think everybody in this call, if you haven't like been on the edge of thinking you can stay in this industry, then if it's been smooth the whole time, then screw you, actually. So that's not even fair. But yeah, so it's hard to do that. But I saw there was an opportunity in social media. And so I started doing that about 6 months in. That was about a year and a half ago. And then I joined Power in March. So I'm pretty new to Power relative to some of you, but things have gone really well. And it's really a natural fit for me because of like the way the structure works and the way we can like mentor each other. And then I'm kind of geeky and nerdy, and the whole virtual, like, let's do this all on a computer, really fits my style and the way I want to work. I didn't mind in home, and I liked walking around. I like didn't weigh as much if I was walking around all day. Like that was cool. But I really like the way things are now, and I really like what the social media stuff. I'm going to talk about that because they asked me to talk a little bit about that. And I want that to be an open conversation. If you guys have questions about like what I do or how I do it, then let's be open about it. Okay, I have a couple topics here that I like go over. I want to talk about lead generation. Like these guys asked me, like, talk about team building, social media, like your success. But the main question, if you're new at all, or if you've been around a while, like it's always the same question with everybody is like, how do I get leads? And then when you're building a team, you have new people coming on. That's the first question. And us that learn knocking doors, we have to say like, hey, the sad truth is like, if you have no momentum and you have nothing to invest, then you have to do the free thing, the thing that costs no money and you can just go do. And you don't have to be good at it. You can just set the appointment, get the bill, and you're done. So that conversation happens a lot. So I wanted to kind of give, I wanted to do something with you guys. I thought it'd be fun, especially because Anthony and Bo are nerds because we play video games, and like, let's try this. So tier list, boys. Okay, so we got a tier maker here. We're going S tier. You guys know what this is? Okay. I have down here like the different ways you would maybe like put energy into to find leads. So I want to rate these, and I want you guys to yell at me when I get it wrong. So I've got different things down here. I'm going to put them in a tier list. If you've never seen a tier list like this before, then you don't play enough video games probably, or something. Maybe you don't watch enough YouTube. But S tier is the best. D tier is trash. All right. So we're going to go through like when someone is in this business and they're like, okay, look, Solar Mike, he's putting all this energy into social media. Should I do that? What am I going to get out of that? So this is a reflection of like, what's going to give you the most money? How do we rank like the way to find homeowners in the tier list? Obviously this is my opinion, but it's kind of fun. So I have realtors here. I have buying like Facebook ads, something like that, like an ad campaign, BNI or networking groups, sponsoring an event, a local event like a farmer's market, door knocking, online forums, social media, and then like home service partners like plumbers, HVAC, that kind of stuff. Okay. The point of this is to like argue with me. Okay. So when I call out Reddit as the greatest place to find leads, you tell me I suck. That's what these tiers are all about. Anyone in BNI, anyone in a networking group that's local? Richard, I don't see everybody. I've been in a BNI for over a year. So I started a chapter here in San Diego. It's kind of slow burn. You know, it's not something where you can get maybe 3 proposals put out every month, but the leads are like the warmest you can get. And you know, with this group, you're always going to get it. And also, if you're like me, you don't have a lot of friends. Like I don't go out that much. And I have this friend group now. So this is A tier for me. BNI A tier, you're not going, it costs $700 a year or something like that. Yeah, you have to meet every week, but like you should probably leverage that opportunity to be comfortable talking to people that are also doing small business. The magic of like these networking groups is they're doing business like you, which is on the edge probably, and like they could use an extra buck. They're talking to people, they're working their ass off. Like they're in the same space of like, hey, like we need to help each other. We need to get active. We need to do events. We need to do stuff. So I love BNI for that. If there's other networking groups, so I would recommend that highly. I'll put it A tier. Reddit, I don't know. Has anybody like sold a system on a forum? Like, oh, hey, you did?
Can I challenge you on the BNI?
Yeah, where do you want it?
So, well, I mean, just for argument's sake, but
Yeah.
I'm very introverted. So BNI, I mean, would BNI and Chamber of Commerce kind of fall under the same umbrella, you think?
I've never done Chamber of Commerce, but
Kind of similar though.
yeah.
I mean, I guess environments or whatever. I'm very introverted. I personally would put that lower tier.
Yeah. All right.
But it's just not me.
Yeah. Well, it's not your tier. So
Yeah, so
it's staying at A. Someone's saying no. So yeah, Chris is saying no.
And what does S stand for?
S is the best.
best of the best.
I don't know what they stand for. Okay, so Anthony, being the introvert, loves Reddit, right? Am I right?
No.
But honestly, do any of you get in forums and interact with people? If you get on Reddit, people will be like, I just got this proposal. Is it good? Like there's opportunity out there to talk to people like that.
I did not know
Anybody do it?
I didn't know that.
I don't
Never heard
either.
of it.
I thought it was
Me
just
too.
for video games.
No, this is for everything weird on the planet. But I have a Reddit. I'm on the Reddit solar channel, and there's constantly people on there that are like, hey guys, I'm in this town. Like, is this good? I don't get on there because I don't want to like jump in as a salesperson, but I know a couple people that have gotten recruits and solar bids proposals from Reddit. But for me, C tier. Like this is more like if you're I'm doing this because I'm saying like if there's one of these things that you have the opportunity to do, where should you put energy if you want to go into something else? And these are just things I've experienced, so I'm just giving my take.
I would agree with that at the sea level. I think it's something if you just throw a half hour a day at it or something like that, don't spend a ton of time on it, but you could potentially get something from it.
Yeah, you can get lost in here, so just be careful. This and don't argue with people, don't be salesy. Realtors. So like who in this group has added the most realtors and like ambassadors? Like you guys seeing success from that?
I had this conversation earlier. This realtor, she's not even in my downline. She's just in the area, and she found me as a local mentor. And we pitched 3 deals together, and we've closed all 3. So I have a 100% close rate with her, and it's because she's sold these homeowners these $500,000 to $700,000 to $800,000 homes. Me coming in with a $50,000 solar system is not that hard. So I would say it's excellent to establish relationships with them.
Okay, so I sold one 2 weeks ago. I went to a realtor office and I pitched to them on Power. And this one lady didn't stay for the presentation. She's just like, oh, hey, I need a solar company. The one I used went out of business. I gave her my card. And then she just gave me a referral for it's an $8 million house, like 60 panels. It was just free, so warm. And so that kind of stuff happens with realtors. They don't necessarily need to join the platform. They don't even necessarily need to be an ambassador. And oftentimes that conversation can get weird because of their like DRE rules or whatever. but they do need someone to go to when their people are asking. So my approach with realtors has been like, let me be your pro, or let me just help you. This is a true story. Yesterday, I just signed up a new rep last week. Or his realtor friend called him and said, we want to give you, and he has an office of like 10 realtors or something. We want to give you a desk in our office and you can just be our solar pro for the office. Like they're giving him office space and they just want him to be their like solar guy. And I was so jealous. I was so mad because I want that desk, but whatever. But that's, so the realtor thing, it's not like Power's been pushing for it. And they've been saying like, hey, talk to realtors. It's not as easy as just saying like, hey, you guys have probably tried it. Like join Power and make a ton of money. It's a little more nuanced conversation than that. But if you can get it going, any lead you get is the warmest, like Anthony said. So we'll go
Quick
A tier.
question for you, buddy.
S tier. All right, I like it. Yeah.
Question for you. So did he sign them up individually as ambassadors, or did he sign?
Good question.
How'd that work out?
Give me 1 second.
Is he getting him right now?
Sorry. Okay, that's a great question. So we haven't, so the approach with that is nothing at first. And I say each situation is unique. Some realtors, like you'll start the conversation like, hey, you want to split commission on this? Cool. Yeah, I want money. But this is a situation where they're asking him to be their pro. They're not asking him to come in so they can make a lot of money. So it's more like he's going to go at them and say like, I have the ambassador program. Eventually we're going to pitch to them and show them what's available, but softly, because you come in hard with this presentation like, hey, there's 6 levels and you get all this revenue share. And it's like, what is this guy talking about? You have to be like soft with that conversation, because you're like, yeah, and then we sell this juice and this is really good for you too. Like you don't want to come off like that.
That's good feedback.
So yeah, so I would say like take it like everyone is unique and just go slowly, because they do need money, but like they need you to be their professional. A sponsored event, so like a golf tournament. Hey, pay $500, we'll put your thing up. I'm gonna say C tier. Like it can work. I have some reps that do this, and we have the table that goes kind of along with the farmers market, which is like a local event. It's not necessarily sponsored, but like you put your stuff out there.
Yeah, that has to be
also
the best
C
of the
tier.
best, buddy. No, that's best of the best in my
The sponsored
Absolutely.
event.
No, not the sponsor, the local events. So I'd say literally probably 85% of my business comes from events.
Like setting
I
up
do,
a table somewhere.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I do very, very well with local events.
Well, because look at your arm, dude. Of course they're gonna talk to you.
That's not it, man. Come on. No, seriously, it's a great way to, I mean, you spend, very little, and the return
Yeah.
on the investment is literally, it's bananas. I mean, give you a great example. There was an asparagus festival up here in our area. I set up a table for 2 days. I got 12 leads. I closed 9 of them, and
Wow.
made almost 50 grand at that one event.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so I've been doing this farmers market. I've set up, I think 4 times, and I have 1 lead from it. But I don't know. I mean, I'm in a spot where a lot of people have solar and maybe it wasn't. So I would say it's worth, like I spent $250 to get this table, this like table throw thing. Like I have it. I'm gonna need my Instagram pulled up, but I have like the little table thing you can buy.
Yeah.
This thing. So it's worth buying that and having, because like people, this gets used almost every week, where someone on my team will like take it somewhere and use it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the success you're seeing. So like, I'm just at the wrong event.
You're probably at the
Also,
wrong
I'm
event.
kind of I don't look at people. I just like put my head down and work on my computer. Like I'm bad.
Yeah, see, you
I
gotta
should, like,
you gotta get from
talk.
behind the table, bro. You gotta talk to everybody. You have to line that table up with giveaways, a big, huge
Yeah.
bowl of candy. I mean, you gotta work it.
Yeah. I'm just like, hey, I've got good solar, and they're like, nope, I'm gonna go get a cookie over here. So we'll put it B tier because it works if you're good, and it doesn't if you're not, or you're at the wrong spot. So that is like, if you see the opportunity to do it, it might be a good thing. It's definitely worth getting like a setup, or if someone on your team has that locally that you guys can all share and use. So this is like plumbers. I have window washers on my team, solar panel cleaners. I'm talking to a plumber. This is like, the leads are okay, but like it's been pretty slow. It's like they aren't good at talking about it. Anybody seen like great success with like home service companies, handyman, any of that? It's tough.
No, I'm mostly giving them leads.
Yeah, exactly.
I-
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I've worked with a lot of home service, and I think it's like I had two HVAC guys, both in different territories, and one had a company about 3 or 4 times the size of the other guy, and the smaller company, they probably gave me almost, I would say maybe I'll get about 1 or 2 deals, maybe like one deal a month or less, but that was like the other company who gave me, if I got one a year, that was I would be surprised, and they were way bigger. So
Yeah.
I think
It's just a matter of like them getting it. And it's hard to like, it's hard to take someone that doesn't really understand solar, or they're not looking to learn it, and really like motivate them and tell them correctly how to pitch this and like get them ready. It's been harder than I thought it would be. I thought I would get more from that. I'm really not. Okay, door knocking. Come on, guys. It's S tier. It's free. If you haven't door knocked, I mean, it can depend where you are, but I mean, I've seen the most surprising humans succeed at door knocking before. Like, it is doable. And the nice thing is, the way we do it, like, all you have to do is set an appointment, and then they get on me with the mentor on Zoom, someone that's done it a long time, and they're getting paid a ton. So door knocking, I don't see. In fact, the picture I took this from, it was a Forbes article. It said door knocking is not going away. It was like basically saying like, this is not a lost or a broken business. Like, this is still really active, still really works. If you don't think it's S tier, like, you're bad at it. Put it that way. Is that offensive? Okay, sorry. It's okay to be bad at door knocking. It's like saying you're bad at like bowling. Like, you shouldn't be good at bowling. I mean, maybe not bowling. You shouldn't be as good at like cornhole as I am, but whatever. Okay, buying leads. So you're on your social media, and like prospect bacon is like every other thing, and you're like, should I buy leads from these dudes? This is my opinion on this. I've never given money to a lead company, but I have worked with a couple. I have worked with a couple in power where we were splitting commission, and that's something that's kind of fun. You propose that to these lead companies, and they're like, no, you take all the risk. So there's this weird space where like, they don't want the risk because they don't know if you're bad at it. You don't want the risk because you don't know if they're bad at it. And then in the end, I think everybody sort of gets frustrated. And I don't know. I don't have this high. I haven't put anything on D tier. Yeah, it depends on the source. Like, I'm not experienced with this. I just don't really know anybody that's like, oh yeah, I've been buying leads from this source for a year, and that's how I do my business. I haven't met that person. Is that person in this call? Is someone like successful? I guess you wouldn't tell.
Yeah, talk to me.
No, he's there. He's here. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
excellent at that, man. Yeah,
Oh, it works. All right.
yeah.
Bo's like, and for 3,000, I'll give you 10 appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Talk to me after the call.
I
Well,
I would say
Anyway.
yeah, it's anywhere from D to S tier. It's something that either it's gonna work or it's not. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of things really need to line up for a lead company to work out.
here's
You need
what
a
I
lot of
think
capital.
is, I think is what is underestimated too, is if you're not good, it's not going to work. This is one of those where like the reason door knocking works for everybody is because you come in and then the strategy around all door knocking campaigns is don't have them get other proposals. Like push this one fast, make it sound like they're just qualifying for something. Hey, this is just like, you're not even really buying anything, dude. Just sign here. And that's how these campaigns are designed. But when you're doing it online, if you're not good, if you don't present well, if you're not competitive, then this isn't a game you can win. So I've had some success with it, but they were in some commission share relationships. So this is sort of like, it totally depends.
I'd personally put it like at a B tier, so right in the middle.
Yeah,
like
I
you
guess it would
said,
be in the middle.
depends on.
Depends. Yeah.
You have to if you're
Yeah.
brand new. This is on new guys that we come on here. I say don't buy them. Don't spend your own
for
money
sure if you're
to
new.
learn,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't want to be spending money to buy leads and learning how to sell. So I would put it at a B tier personally.
Right. And I think like, okay, so Bo and Anthony, you guys are like comfortable with a computer, right? I know, because we've gamed. All right. And like those of us that are ultra nerds, like we sort of, this is like our element. And sitting in front of a computer and running like 6 proposals in a row is like a great day. That sounds awesome to me. And that doesn't sound awesome to everybody. And that's intimidating and a lot of things. So I think personality matters if you really want to like, because you have to do those, you have to do really well when you get on those calls. You can't screw up. It's a lot of money if you screw up. So yeah, it's kind of high pressure and high cost, but it can work. All right, TikTok videos, right? Like we'll get into social media, but this is for me S tier, but not for solar deals. This is for team building. So like social media for me, S tier, but I've been working at it and I post every single day and I have for a year and a half and I put a ton of time into it. So this is kind of just random. This is gonna be different for everybody. I would say like the problem with social media is like you can't really stand out if you do a great post. Like there's just, and everybody knows this if you learn about social media, but you just have to consistently do it for a long time. So this is definitely a long time approach, but it's like free business for me because people know who I am. And that helps. So anyway, this has value and I'll talk more about it, but again, like right in the middle, have something go viral. I had one meeting where I sat down with the husband and the wife came down the hallway and she said, "It's the guy from TikTok." And I was like, okay, it worked. And they bought it. I was like, okay. And I'm in there like raising the price immediately. Like, okay, perfect. No, I didn't, but I should have. I wouldn't. Okay. That's the tier list. Kind of fun, but is there any other way I missed that you guys think I'm missing on that list? Something that you guys do that is worth talking about?
Building your own campaigns, like doing Facebook ads, YouTube ads.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know how to do that. If you can do that yourself, then that sounds like, I mean, I can run an ad, but I've never like gotten too serious about it. I've never done like a click ad where I'm trying to sell solar. But yeah, if you can run your own stuff. but you have to pay for it, right? It's still a cost.
Well, for those, I mean, I'm not the biggest expert. Maybe Bo's a bigger expert, but I've done them, and you know, it doesn't cost you. It's like you said about the TikTok. It doesn't really cost anything to make a YouTube video as an ad, but you got to know how to like place it. You got to know how to have a conversion funnel, and usually those funnels,
Yeah.
they're not too expensive, but you know, you have to have the systems in place, but then you're paying for the per click or whatever YouTube does it, or
Yeah.
Google. And but you know, if you're good at it, you can spend $500 a month an ad spend and, you know, get a handful of leads.
Yep. That's cool. I haven't done it. I'm trying to find lead generators that'll join Power and like do it my way. But it's hard to get them off there, like buy 10 for $2,000 kind of thing. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that. Where get leads, the tier list. So I talked about doors. I have a lot of background in door knocking. Does anybody want me to talk about that, or I can just go to my social media? Let's just go to that, and then we'll come back if we want to. Oh, I wanted to say this too. So like, let's say now we find leads, like this matters. When I joined Power, I was just I was at Sunrun. Their operation was really clunky and I wasn't going to sell PPAs anymore. So I didn't choose Power with the hope of like, I had never sold virtually and I didn't even care about building a team. I was like, I'm just going to keep knocking doors. I just need a better product, better stuff. And like, I need stuff to actually get installed. And then what happened is I got hooked to this like lead gen campaign where I was running like 7 appointments a day all over the country. And I realized that like, that's when I was saying the presentation on Zoom matters. And when you stand out and you're better than, you know, the person that knocked or like the bid they got from Costco, and it really, really helps to just be super memorable on that call. So these are just my tips. I mean, you guys might have better stuff. But I thought I wanted to share these because they've been really important to like this kind of the second phase of my Power experience, which is like my close rate is now really high. And I think it's due to like, I iterate constantly on making the experience for the homeowner sort of unbeatable. Like I don't want someone else to come on and impress them more. So I'm always looking for ways to do that. Tech, like camera, microphone, lights, like have all that stuff. That's great or whatever. It's important, but starting materials, like I have Google Earth open. I have the homeowner presentation open. So like the slides from Power, and then I have the proposal open. So I usually like open the call and I'll zoom in on their house in Google Earth. And that's like this, like, ooh, let's go. Like they're like, ooh, start spinning around their house. And all of a sudden, like you get this sense, like the feeling I'm trying to get in the call is that I'm a consultant and we're going to figure this out together. And so I'm trying to give them this sense like, oh, this guy's really like looking at my house. And then when we get in the proposal, we talk about how much they need and we're like building this thing together. And then the nice thing is when you come into that, and that's what I'm saying here, like talk less, make it super conversational. Like ask them about everything, get them talking as much as you can. And then you're building this thing together. And then when you come to the financing, which is like the part that matters, where you want to like slow down and spend all your time, you're rolling into that same vibe, which is like, well, how do you guys want to pay for this? Like, what have you talked about it? Like, what do you want? And then when you get that conversational vibe going, you can say like, well, what have you guys, like, what proposals have you had? Who have you talked to? Like, what did they propose as far as financing goes? As much as you can dig out of them on what they probably thought how they want to pay for it, probably thought about how they want to pay for it before. And then it becomes so easy to not sound salesy at the part where you need to be salesy. That's like my goal. And the response I've got is I can tell they feel like I'm a consultant and not a salesperson. So when a salesperson comes along and says like, hey, you need to do this now because net metering 3.0, and it's just like, no, we'll call the other guy. Like I try to really avoid sounding like a salesperson and sounding more like a consultant. And I do that by like framing the whole call around like, hey, let's look at your house. And I'm just asking a ton of questions in the beginning. Probably the main question in the beginning is, have you guys looked into this before? I'm trying to see what they know. Really, we just want them to send like the SunPower bid over, right? Like just send it to me and just show it to me and then let me beat it. No, we're good. I just had that slide in here. I don't know if you guys want me to go. The other thing too is like my new people. I'm always surprised that like I'll have someone new and they'll go to do their, so if some of you are tier 2 and like you're doing your first sale or you're doing your first few sales and you call your mentor with like, oh, how do I do the docs again? Or like, where's that thing? Like practice all of that. Like get your Zoom together, get your presentation together, click through fake documents, do everything. You can do all of this without another human on the line. And so you can practice presenting on Zoom as much as you want. I used to, when I was new doing this, I used to connect my phone to I would like pitch to myself and I'd watch myself on the phone. So I'd watch the presentation on my phone and how it looked. So it was like, I wanted to see the customer experience before I was going to actually give it to them. So I would say practice, because you don't get a lot of like at bats in this industry before like it's either working or not. So you kind of need to practice offline on that. Yeah, don't be weird, right? That's kind of like don't be salesy. I would say the weird part is when like you try to convince them that solar, I hear new people, they'll go into like why solar is awesome. You rarely need to do that. You don't like we get anxious to tell them why it's rad and they already know why it's rad. So just like they actually just want to know how they're going to pay for it. So if you can skip some of that, it's rare that I'm telling someone that they should get solar. I mean, I can't remember the last time I did that. Because why are you talking to them? They probably know. Well, and they're referrals. So most of mine are referrals. I guess if you're knocking doors or cold calling or something a little different, you might be selling a little bit more. But if you are, don't be weird. Okay, I'm jamming. I'm taking a ton of time. Let me just talk about Solar Mic a little bit. So if you're thinking about social media, this is how you do it. It's easy. You just get up on a stage and you like film people doing weird shit and then post it online and share it to all your friends. That's what I did at the conference. But when I started, it was really simple. And this is what I did. I said, I want to create Solar Mic as a brand. But you just decide what your brand is. And what I mean by create a brand, it's when you go to the page, what's like the foundation of the content. And mine was, I want to show that I'm an expert. I know what I'm talking about. I do something people want and I'm normal. I have like a wife and a dog and whatever. And I go around and do fun things like normal. Like I'm a real person. I'm obsessed with my job and I'm good at it. That's all I'm trying to show. And so all of my content is sort of structured around some form of that. At least that's how it was in the beginning. And then what I do on Sundays, I plan out my whole week So I would say if you're gonna really do social media, post every day. Did you guys have Ramsey on here? You said he was a friend of the show.
He's been on our trainings a few times. I've been talking to him to have him host though for sure.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
he's
I
like
love his socials.
he's so good. He's such a cool
He's
guy.
singing, he's dancing, he's doing all that stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so if we look at my stuff, you see like I'm talking about EDM music and being stupid and gaming. Like I'm constantly talking about gaming because that's what I do. I'm constantly talking about Zoom because I spend all my time here. I worship my dog. I fly my drone. Here's me playing more video games. So this is me. This is my life. So it's like I'm obsessed with solar. My clients love me. And like this is what it's like to do it all day. And this is like what I'm up to. And I'm like sillier than the average. Like what? Like I did crafts, you guys. Because come on. So cute. But if you go to Kiara's, Kiara sells solar. She's actually my mentor, so we do stuff together. It's way more professional. It's fancier. She's in LA. She's got her like perfect like outfit here.
More
like, come on.
informative.
Yeah. So she's got her vibe. You go to Ramsey, he's like just this really like open, fun guy that he could probably turn the mic on and just talk for 10 minutes and it would be fine. And then you've got like Cynthia, who is one of our top people. Hers is mostly her kids. It's mostly like I'm having fun with my family and I do solar and she kills it with this. So what I'm saying is when you say like, what is my brand? It's you. It's just you with solar mixed in and you show it. But the one key to like all successful, and this is kind of the point where like, you know, if you're going to do it or not, if you're going to turn the camera on and talk, you should do it. If you're comfortable doing that, you should do it. If you're comfortable like spending 15 minutes to wait for the lighting to be right, and then you'll take 50 takes on a video, then like you should do it. It's not that bad, but it does take some work. But that's, if you notice all the people that are great at social media, they have some form is like they turn the camera on and they say stuff. Just posting like still images and videos that you're not talking in will only get you so far. Any specific questions about like what I do online or any of the social media stuff? Yeah, I'll send you my page. So I've used this. Let me show you how I use this account. When I first started it, I thought it was going to be for finding homeowners. So I would DM 20 to 40 people a day in San Diego and say like, hey, I'm Solar Mike. Let me help you. It was a lot of work. And I think I got 2 installs from that in the time I did it. And I calculated that out to like justify the time it took me to do it. But what I realized is like, this doesn't give me a lot of installs by posting this. Social media is not for finding homeowners. Social media is for finding people that find homeowners. Like this is about team building and saying to the world, like, hey, I do solar. And if you want to do it with me, come talk to me. But it's a great way to connect with the industry. When I started, I had no idea that was going to have so much value. I just didn't have any idea. But that's where the value is. It's why I'm on this call. Like this is how we met. Because I posted something about a quirk of mine, and these guys were like, "Hey, let's call this dude and play games." And that's how a lot of the people on my team have met me. Specific questions about that. So yeah, you can use it to do like DM campaigns. You can use it to one thing I'll do is just I started this the other day and I got a couple meetings out of it, but like I pulled up the Yelp page in like Houston. And I think I searched window washers, and I was doing it for window washers, and I was doing Northern California turf salesman. I don't know why. I was just like picking weird stuff. And I would go on Yelp, I'd find their business, find them on Instagram, and then message them directly on Instagram. So the other day I was on the call. This is yesterday. Where's this? This Nava Realty Group. So I was on a call with one of my reps, and he's like, hey, I messaged Nava Realty Group. These guys have like 600,000 followers on Instagram. They do crazy content. And he's like, they won't respond to me. And so on the call, I was like, hey, Nava, your content's amazing. Let's talk about how I partner with real estate. But they answered me and they're like, thanks. What do you have in mind? I need to answer them. But he has barely any content on Instagram. And then I reached out to them and they're like, okay, hey, what's up? So that's the value I'm talking about, is like when you have a brand out there, you can reach out to people and they respond. That's the real value in social media. It's not necessarily like a proposal you're going to get.
I had a question along with that, Mike.
You guys seen who's sliding into my DMs over here? I shouldn't show that. Come on. Just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you tried building that brand on like LinkedIn or in Facebook too?
I linked it to Facebook, but then I started doing reels only. So I just do reels. Like, it's really rare that I don't do reels just because they get more views than everything. And when I started doing that, Facebook wasn't accepting those. So I haven't really kept up Facebook. I post on TikTok and Instagram. I have Facebook and LinkedIn set up, but I haven't.
The reason I
gone there
ask
yet.
is, I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's two kind of scenarios I think you could really take value in those. With like Facebook, obviously there's tons of huge groups, and so if you have a huge brand, say on Facebook or obviously in Instagram, and be able to, whether you're trying to recruit or talk to people there on
For
these huge
sure.
groups,
No, I
it could
should
kind of
do
show
it.
value there. But then on LinkedIn, just on like getting like ambassadors or trying to network with other professionals, if you have that
Yeah.
huge brand and you're continually posting professionally on LinkedIn, that could create a lot of networking opportunities there too.
I do. It would. Kiara gets a lot from LinkedIn. I know a lot of people do. It's almost like I just like picked a lane, I can't do them all. And so I've got like Instagram is my lane, and I kind of lean into that. But yeah, I should be all over Facebook. I know I should be. Thanks for making me feel bad.
I was just wondering
not
if there's
doing
like
enough.
an easy way to, like you said, you've picked a lane, but is there a way that you can use some online tools that can allow you to post things on all of them at the same time?
It
that?
does work. And someone told me that now Facebook's accepting reels. So I need to go back and look into it, because I was auto posting everything to Facebook when I started for like the first year almost. But I got nothing from it. Like, I don't know what it is about Facebook. I just like weirdly hate it. Is that bad? I don't know. By the way, I do not use social media at all. I'm not a consumer at all. I never looked at social media before. And I don't even understand the concept of, wait, is this recording? Dude, come on. Never mind. I love social media and I look at everybody's posts all day long. Yeah, why are people on there? I'm just kidding. But it is actually it's been great. And I love the creative process of like, I love making content. So social media and I have a weird relationship because I like doing it. There's like a sense of like when I do something creative, I really like that. But yeah, I don't spend a ton of time on it. I'd rather be gaming. Gamers don't spend time on social media. We don't have time for that. Last team, like I'm going way over time, but this is just some advice on team building. And like I said, I'm kind of new. I think my team's about like 25 or so. So it's growing, it's grown, it's been great. But one thing I notice with new people on my team is they're anxious to like grow their team. And you guys have Anthony and Bo and like whoever else is expert in this call. Don't try to recruit anyone if you're not awesome at it. Because what happens is every single call that's with someone that might want to join Power is super unique, probably. They're not like those that have been in the industry a while, they'll know how to manage like, oh, this guy's been at these solar companies, so this is this type of conversation, or this is there's just a wide variety of conversations in recruiting someone that go on. And so it's always surprising to me that my tier ones or something, or my level ones will try to recruit on their own. I'm thinking, why don't you let me do it? I'll sign them up under you, because your mentor would love to put people under you. That's like, then there's double support there. So let your mentor or whoever's really great at it on your line, let them do the recruiting calls. And then listen in, just say like, hey, do this call for me. I'll be in the background, put them in my team. If they sign up, perfect. I would do that every day for my team. What is this other stuff? Oh yeah, those are just details. We don't need to go into that. So yeah, building team, whoever's the best on your team, use that person to do all the recruiting. They will happily put people under you. Okay, any questions? Like anything else you guys want to see or hear about? I think we're at an hour.
What's your reel that has the most views? Do you know that off the top of your head, or
I had one that hit like 40K a while ago. Oh, it was one where I what was it? It was this one. How many views does this have? I just showed, like, we were just selling some big deals, and I had some like really catchy, like boppy music to this. I did redesigns on like 3 of those. Yeah. Oh, that customer's mad. Oh man, that's funny. It's funny to look at all of them. But yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too. Like number of followers. Okay. So this is a good example. Like I have 3,000 whatever followers, but it's kind of deceiving on Instagram. Like I don't do any sort of like farming at all for followers. And it doesn't really matter, because you'll see people with 100,000 and they have like 100 views on a reel or something. So that doesn't really matter. What matters is like engagement and like an audience. Like I think Ramsey, like he's only at he's like less than 1,000, but you can see what it's doing. The kind of content he makes is attracting people like to work with him. So views, followers, don't worry so much about that. It's more like if you have 9 posts that look really good and are like show something, and then you go message Nova Realty in Houston and say like, hey, do you want to talk to me about partnering? They'll look at your page and be like, this guy seems legit, and they'll talk to you. Anyway.
Lolita asked, I don't know if you see that message. Do you have your page public or private? Friends only?
Oh, public. Yeah, public.
Is it a business page?
It's totally all business. I don't really have friends. True story. But yeah, it's totally open, my account. Are you doing a thumbnail for each post? Yeah.
Leslie, great to have you. From Florida, she's signing off.
I actually do. So like I have someone help me with editing when I need it. and then I have someone like post every day. So I like give them what I want posted, and then it's like scheduled out. So if you get real serious about this, it helps to have help. I mean, they're like friends and family that help me, but my kids hate me too. I always film them doing stuff. Cool. Well, what else? Should we play some Overwatch, guys?
Yeah, guess we'll watch. Awesome. Does anyone have any other questions for him?
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Good stuff.
Yeah. Pleasure.